Welcome to Asian Digest on ATN. I'm your host, Salman Dillon, and for 30 years, World Partnership Walk has been taking place across Canada. Now, the funds raised go towards supporting international development and to end global poverty. Now, last year, this is quite impressive, they raised over $7 million, and to date, this is really impressive, they've raised $82 million. Now, of course, the walk is back. This year, it takes place Sunday, May 25th, in Toronto at Metro Hall. And to give us all the details, I've got Fiaz Basaria and Sabrina Premji here. Hello, you two.
Hi.
And quite impressive, 82 million. I saw that number, I was like, God, I can't even think about how much 82 million is, but that's honestly speaks volumes to how popular this walk is. So 30 years, this walk has been taking place. Let's take us back. Let's take us back to when this all started. Maybe one of you can tell us the history about who started this walk and why.
Absolutely, I can do that. The walk started 30 years ago in Vancouver, BC. It started with a group of 6 women that organized or rallied Canadians to come out to walk for a cause in helping people living in very poor quality conditions in Africa and Asia. So about 1,000 Canadians in Vancouver got together, walked, and they raised $55,000 that year. And 29 years later, we're sitting at $82 million. So it's been a very generous outpouring of Canadians supporting this walk year over year. So far last year, we raised about 40 to 50,000 people from Toronto and other parts of Canada came out to walk in the walk.
That's quite impressive, right?
And the walk actually runs over 10 cities now across Canada. So Toronto being the largest, and then Vancouver, and then other main centres across Canada. So the walk is certainly a larger movement now than it was several years ago.
Absolutely. And of course, the website, folks can go on there to find out across Canada when the walk is coming to their city. But we know the 25th is coming to Toronto.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about a little bit about $82 million. That's a lot of money that can go towards supporting great causes. So maybe you can talk to us about some past projects that the money has gone towards supporting.
Yes, I can certainly start with that, and then Sabrina can talk a little bit about her experiences in the field. So the Aga Khan Foundation, which is the beneficial charity from the walk, focuses itself with finding solutions to ending global poverty. Now, global poverty is a global phenomenon, has been since the dawn of mankind. More than 60% of the world's population live in what we would call under the poverty line. But the unique thing about the foundation is that it concerns itself with finding sustainable solutions to global poverty and how to end it. And global poverty is not an event per se, or a program cannot end global poverty. It's an integrated approach that deals with many facets of human development. So the need to have children to go to school early on in years, access to education, access to providing good healthcare services, having shelter and housing, having the right infrastructure within the community so that there are accessibility issues are sort of alleviated. Encouraging beneficiaries or communities to save money, to save for the future, enabling sustainable solutions in agricultural development. So the foundation concerns itself with a whole realm of different socioeconomic types of activities that impact the human. And the essence behind the foundation's work is to create that hope and aspirations for a better quality of life. And by doing that, or the way they do that, is actually engaging the people themselves in finding solutions for themselves. And the foundation is really trying to enable them. So it's that old adage of, I can take the horse to the water, but I can't force them to drink, but you've created that access or that encouragement. And that's what the foundation seeks to do through its programming. So the beneficiaries themselves are very much part of the process. In fact, they become the masters of the process itself, and that's how development can be sustained. And it's usually a generation, more than a multi-generational sort of input. So the foundation is in there for the long run. And Sabrina, talk a little bit about the actual projects that some of the work
That'd be
helps.
fantastic. Sabrina, could you maybe talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had the opportunity to work in Kenya and Tanzania for the last 4 years on projects related to the Aga Khan Foundation, and mainly within this realm of maternal and child health. So to give you some context, this is a region where there is one doctor for every 100,000 people. I mean, this is a region where newborn babies are fed chai, the chai that we drink today. They're fed chai because there's a complete lack of awareness of the importance of nutrition and what good nutritional practices look like. This is a region where over 50% of deliveries take place at home without a skilled health professional. And so we have a lot of mothers and children that are dying in the process. And I distinctly remember one day I went to one of these rural communities in Kenya, to a health facility, and my team and I, we went to this community and we said, what do you need to learn? What are the skills? What are these areas of knowledge that you feel like you don't have? And the nurses and the doctor responded by saying it was childbirth complications. They felt that every time a woman came in with complications related to childbirth, they didn't know what to do, and that woman ended up dying. And so we went back to the drawing board. We came up with a workshop. We got together all of these wonderful expertise, and we delivered this workshop on innovative techniques that dealt with childbirth complications. And a few days later, I got a call from one of these participants who said, "You'll never believe it, Sabrina. Last week we had a mother who came in, had just delivered a baby, and was bleeding profusely. And there was no hope for her. She was going to die." And in that moment, I remembered a skill taught at that workshop.
Wow.
And I was able to use it, and we got the bleeding to stop, and we saved that woman's life.
Amazing.
And in that moment, it's extraordinary. And it was in that moment that I realized the beauty of the Aga Khan Foundation and this multiplier effect that the work of the Aga Khan Foundation has. Because not only did we empower that participant, that nurse, to think of their own issues and come forth and ask us, this is what we need help in, rather than us as a foundation going in and saying, we need to teach you this. And instead of having that approach, and we were also able to save this woman's life. But not only that, we were able to ensure that this newborn baby had a mother who would be able to breastfeed this baby. And if we hadn't saved that woman's life, that baby would not have had the nutrients and the immunity developed, and would probably have passed away before they reached their 5th birthday.
It's amazing how much of an impact just one simple thing can do, right? The amount it can stretch out. So fantastic to hear stories like that, right? It really warms your heart. Of course, so much more to talk about, including upcoming projects, because I'm sure there's a lot more work to do. So we're going to find out about that. We got to take a little break, folks, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to ATN. Of course, we're talking about the upcoming World Partnership Walk taking place May 25th. And of course, I got Fiaz and Sabrina here, of course, to tell us all about the amazing work that this walk does. The funds raised. Now, Sabrina, you're just sharing an amazing story. Hopefully our viewers caught it before the commercial break about the impact you've actually seen firsthand in terms of going into these smaller towns and even villages, I should probably say, and educating the women there so they know how to take care of themselves and their children. So, it's been 30 years of doing amazing work. I know, there's so much that can still be done. So maybe talk to us a little bit about what are the upcoming plans. Are there any certain projects or areas that you really want to focus on?
Yeah, I can start with that. Essentially, the foundation is continuing to build on the foundation that they've set in terms of ending global poverty, or at least alleviating global poverty. And recently, as recent as February 28th in Toronto, His Highness the Aga Khan, who is the chairman of the foundation itself, and also the founder of the Aga Khan Foundation, Aga Khan Development Network, a network of 10 agencies that focus on a very grassroots organization that focus on the quality of life, of improving quality of life. So when he was here in Toronto with Prime Minister Harper, they announced a joint venture of $100 million investment into advancing human development. And so that would be a fairly new initiative or a new partnership that the Government of Canada has invested with. 25 million of that of that $100 million partnership actually comes from the funds raised from the walk, from the World Partnership Walk, and the $75 million comes from Canadians in this process. And that the funds there, the partnership there is designed to advance human development, specifically focusing on maternal health care and child health care. And so work is continuing along those lines to advance technologies and simple ways to improve mortality rates and maternal health care in that area. Mm-hmm.
Now, also, how do you determine which areas to go into? Because, I mean, it's quite the broad area. There's many countries where, you know, even if it's advanced, there's always those little parts that could use some help. So how does the foundation determine where they're going to send a team or where they're going to go in?
It's a very, very good question. Obviously, poverty is everywhere.
Even here in Canada.
Absolutely. So the foundation looks very, very carefully at areas where the population, large populations, don't have very much access to government, their own government services, and access to even civil institutions or organizations around them. So they're very grassroots organizations, so they find very remote regions, primarily in Africa and Asia, because the network, the Aga Khan network, is well established in those countries for more than 30, 40, 50 years now. And so they have an infrastructure within the network's capacity. So they're able to go into countries that they're already familiar with. They understand the political and geoeconomic conditions. They understand the populations. And so they go into strategic areas where populations are essentially left alone because they're so far removed from the urban centers. They're in very rural areas. And so being a very grassroots organization, the foundation finds ways to access these populations to enable them to help themselves and establish a base infrastructure of support. And so that's one of the key determinants on how they actually choose which countries, which regions, ultimately which villages to go into.
And can we name some of the countries maybe where there's a big presence?
Yes, absolutely. A couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to visit Mozambique. So Mozambique, by its design, is also a very poor country, specifically northern Mozambique, in an area called Cabo Delgado. I was there with a group of other volunteers, and very poor, but lots of people living off the land and basically looking for ways to improve their quality of life. So that's an area. The foundation is based in parts of East Africa like Tanzania, Zanzibar, in Nairobi, in Mozambique, in Mombasa, in parts of Uganda, and also into Pakistan and India as well. And more recently, over the last 10 years, in places like Afghanistan and Tajikistan, where they're doing a lot of work there as well.
And I think what's worth mentioning, so we operate in 30 countries around the world, and the Aga Khan Foundation does not shy away from challenges. I mean, we're accessing people who are on the mountainous regions of Badakhshan in Central Asia. We're accessing people who are in rural communities who have never had access to any type of healthcare services or any type of development initiatives. And the benefit of supporting a program like this is we do a multidisciplinary approach to development. So I know we talked a lot about maternal and child health, and that's absolutely a focal area. But we also work in education and boys and girls alike. We work in water and sanitation. We work in microfinance. We work in strengthening community development. And we do all of this by supporting local infrastructure and working with governments to help strengthen the systems as well as the policies. And there are very few organizations out there, none that I can really think of, that work in all of these different areas that will help bring these communities out of poverty. They bring hope to these communities, and that really is the magic of the Aga Khan Foundation.
Certainly
and I think it's also important to mention 100% of the donations go to the foundation, right?
And that's a key thing. I can't think of any charity at this moment that can sort of say that everything that we raise, 100% of all donor money goes directly to these projects to alleviate global poverty. And on top of that, those funds are not only matched, but they're leveraged maybe 3, 4, 5 times. So $1 could be as much as $5, depending on the project, because we have agencies of the government that support these projects as well. So your dollars are actually stretched even further. So it's a fantastic cause.
Yeah.
It goes a long way, and Canadians have this opportunity once a year to participate and make a difference.
And we're going to talk about how they can, I'm guessing, volunteer, but of course donate and participate in the walk. So lots more information to get from both of you, but we got to take a little commercial break again. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to ATN. I'm your host, Sam and Dylan. Of course, we're talking about the upcoming walk, the World Partnership Walk, May 25th. That's a Sunday, folks. It's taking place here in Toronto, but go to the website because it takes place across Canada in various cities. So find out when they're coming to a city near you. And of course, we are talking about how we've raised $82 million to date. I think that's so incredible. You know, and that's congratulations to the entire team. I know you have a lot of people that come out and help you and support. So that's how we're going to talk about how our viewers can get involved. So, Sabrina, maybe you can talk about this. How can people maybe volunteer like you?
Yeah, so if this segment has moved you at all, first thing, go check out our website. Get to know the work of the Aga Khan Foundation. I'm a huge believer that if you're going to donate your time or your resources, get to know where that money is going. So check out our work. I promise you, you will be astounded by it. And then second thing, come out to the walk, the World Partnership Walk. Whether you are a young person who has run out of date ideas and doesn't know where to take your sweetheart, come out to the walk. Whether you are a family and you are tired of seeing your kids at your PlayStations, I mean, bring them out to the walk. Whether you are an old person and you need some fresh air, come out to the walk. It is an incredibly fun, energizing event, and it is a way for you to do a little something towards ending global poverty.
Absolutely. I love the date idea, by the way. What better way? That person's probably going to get a second date if you're like, you know what?
I promise
for
you.
First date, let's not do dinner. Let's go help stop poverty around the world. I love that.
That's right.
Okay, so how can people sign up for the walk? Is there a minimum they need to pledge? Maybe some details about that?
Sure. So yeah, as Sabrina mentioned, the World Partnership Walk website provides ways to get involved. If people want to come out just for a walk, they can come out for the walk and participate. Best way to get involved in fundraising is sign up to be an ambassador, become an ambassador and reach out to friends to help fundraise for the walk. Join an existing team. The team strategy is a great strategy. You're working with other groups that want to do the same. So join a team. Form a workplace team at your workplace. We have a lot of corporations behind this. Bring out wear your corporate colors. Come out for the walk. It's a great family day event. It certainly is. It caters to all segments of the audience. Come out, enjoy the day. There's lots of delicious food. We have a great entertainment lineup. We have guests from all levels of government. Last year we had the Premier come out. She's expecting to come out this year, hopefully. We'll see multiple different levels of different guests from different parts of Toronto. It's a great day. It's a great celebration. It's a celebration. It's a celebration where Canadians, Torontonians can say, hey, we can make a difference. This is their time to make the difference. Come out and walk and you'll see thousands of people.
And you know, we all have a responsibility to make a difference. I think by being able to watch this show, whether you have a television or a computer, you've won the biggest lottery that there is to win, this genetic lottery. And it's our responsibility now to do something about that. Every day we switch the channels and we see this horrible violence and things happening in the world. And you can say, there's nothing I can do. Or you can come out and support the World Partnership Walk and support the Aga Khan Foundation and do something tangible and give back with this incredible lottery that we've all won.
That was very well said. And you know, last year you raised $7 million. So,
right.
Fiaz, do we have maybe a goal in mind?
We have a goal in mind. We always have.
Let's talk
We always have a
some
goal in
numbers.
mind. So the reason we've been so successful over the 30 years is that we've incrementally been growing the walk. And so we're not looking at a leaps and bound increase. Again, we're looking at about a 15 to 20% increase on the base. So we're looking at about close to $8 million as a goal to raise for this year. So if we can get to that 8 million threshold, we've done ourselves a big favor as well.
You know, it's election season here in Toronto, so let's hope all those pennies coming out. Bring your checkbooks. There you have it. Just a little tip there for you. All right, so remember, everyone, if you want to get information on the foundation or what city it's coming to, or even details about the Toronto one, so remember, Sunday, May 25th at Metro Hall, that's downtown Toronto, it's taking place. Go to their website, worldpartnershipwalk.com. All right, thank you for both of you coming down here and, of course, talking about it. And $82 million.
And we'll see you there, eh?
I hope so, hopefully. We'll see. I love the way she's put me on there. Okay, I guess I'll bring my walking shoes. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. You've been watching ATN. I'm your host, Sam Dylan. And as I sign off, here's a little video of the foundation and the walk. Enjoy.
How does it feel to be part of such an inspiring World Partnership Walk?
It feels wonderful. My family has been doing the walk since I was a young girl, when it used to be a 10K run, which was a lot, but it's really nice to be able to do it. We do it with our family. We do it every single year, and we try and raise money to help the cause. It's wonderful. And now we've got our kids doing too.
What keeps you coming back every year?
I think two things. Number one, it's a great cause, and there's so many things that the Aga Khan Foundation does that's phenomenal. And then number two, it really has become like a family event. It just keeps the community together and the families together.
I couldn't agree more. Do you have any words of encouragement for the viewers sitting at home?
Come on out.
Well, it's a World Partnership Walk, and it's all about alleviating the poverty. It's a step. It's not about the amount you contribute. It's about the contribution you make. It's not about dollar value. It's the step that is taken. So we as a group are taking a small step. No doubt it won't make much of an impact, but yes, we need to contribute. So contribution is the aspect we look at.
Definitely. Is this your first year doing it?
Yeah. We're first year. We all are a group which came last year in Canada as a new immigrant. Now we're enjoying it. And
Where did you guys hear about this?
It's a community. We belong to this community, so we have been a part of it.
That's really great. Do you have any words of motivation for the viewers watching out there?
Yes, definitely, yes. I remember a small story, if you don't mind. It's all about a starfish. There are a lot many starfish coming on the shore and dies. But there was a small kid who wanted to contribute. So he started pulling out one of the starfish and put it back in the sea. One of the guys asked, why are you doing so? There are so many starfish dying. What difference makes? It's just one fish, you're pulling it in. And the boy answers, a beautiful answer he gives. He says that the difference it makes in the life of that one particular fish is important rather than the group. So it's the contribution you make it that most, the difference. It's not the amount.